boys and girls. This is Miss Jennifer. I wanted to read you a story today. It is called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs, and it is told by a wolf, and it was told to John Seska. And it's a really hard last name. I had to look that up. All right. So here we go. Oh, I'm forgetting something super important. I can't see the words. Everybody knows the true story of the Three Little Pigs. Or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because no one has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it is all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault that wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. Like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold and I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe that? I mean, who in their right mind builds a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. Well, I didn't want to just walk in someone else's house, so I called, "Little pig, little pig, are you in?" No answer. I was just about to go home without that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. And that's when my nose started to twitch. I felt a sneeze coming. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. And I sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what? That whole straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He'd been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying around in the straw, so I ate it. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying around. Well, I was starting to feel a little better, but I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my granny's birthday cake, so I went to the house next door. The neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He'd built his whole house out of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house and nobody answered. So I called. "Mr. Pig! Mr. Pig, are you in?" And he yelled back, "Go away, wolf! You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs off my chinny chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe this, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. And when the dust cleared, there was the second little pig. Dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know that food will spoil if you just leave it out there in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. Think of it as having a second helping. Well, I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains in the family. He'd built his house out of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, "Mr. Pig! Mr. Pig, are you in?" And do you know what that rude little porker answered? "Get out of here, wolf, and don't bother me again." Talk about impolite. Why, he probably had a whole sack full of sugar. He wouldn't even give me one little cup for my dear, sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake. And that's when I felt my cold coming on again. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed once again. And then that third pig yelled, "And your old granny can sit on a pin." Now, I am usually a pretty calm fella. When somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. Well, when the cops drove up, of course I was trying to break down the door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing. I was making a real scene. The rest of the story, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs I'd had for dinner, and they figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. And that's it. The real story. I was framed. One more. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. The end. Thanks. See you later.